This is the Sunday stream opening song because the other song is copyrighted. La 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 la. Oh look, here comes Dog Cat Fox.
Hi, Sky.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday stream. The stream I do on Sundays because Sunday is the day to stream on Sundays. Hope you're all doing well on this beautiful Sunday morning. I mean, it's not nearly as gloom and doom as it was perhaps last Sunday. It's actually kind of light out. Yay, daylight savings time, I suppose. But either way, hope you're all doing well on this beautiful Sunday morning. Before I get into this week's topic, who's joining me on this beautiful Sunday morning? Noah Asensio, good morning. Rotten Corpse, good morning. Advocatus Diaboli, good morning. Mike Savage, Blarg. Bishop, good morning. Kiro Soldier, good morning. Ercole Di Stefano, good morning. Jam, good morning. Who else is here? Chicago Mike, good morning. Alan Filer, good morning. A2P, good morning. Michael Sander, good morning. Old Guy Gamer, good morning. Tier Alexander, oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Pardon me, 1 second. Tier Alexander, the Gentleman Lich, good morning. Brittany Holland, good morning. Tall Person, good morning. Ryan R, good morning. Mike R, good morning. Of the prestigious R family. Wonder how many other R's there are out there. R. Alan Thyler, holy cats. Whoa, thank you so much, Alan. Dang. Alan, that's ridiculously generous of you. Thank you for the your amazing fireworks samurai dog cat fox. Oh, dog cat fox.
Wowie, wow, wow.
That's a Weebo Jones dog cat fox. Thank you, Alan. That's very, very generous. Appreciated. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you enjoy the show. And as far as I know, that is everybody that I see currently in the chat that I haven't said hello to. If you're lurking or if you're in the future, good morning. And I'll try to get to some more good mornings as things go. Again, thank you again, Alan. It's very, very generous. So a subject that kind of just popped up and reminded me of some things yesterday. There's been quite a lot of drama taking place in the great state of Wisconsin, specifically the university system of Wisconsin. Now, this is a subject that I've covered a couple of times in the past of my channel. The first time was long, long ago at the University of Wisconsin Whitewater, where they had a diversity and inclusion program for their housing program. And if you wonder why I say the word program so many times, well, you'll find out if you watch the video. A link to it is in the description below. As well, how long ago was that now? Hold on. It was a couple of years ago now that I did a little profile of DEI recruiting at the, oh boy, what was it? It was the University of Wisconsin Family and Medical Health Center. I think I got that right. And a long presentation video they put out describing their process and their advancements and who they'd partnered with to try to drum up this program for this. It dealt with unlearning and diversity consulting and percentages and quotas on the basis of what people looked like and on and on and on. And it's a whole thing. And I did a video on it, and I also did a follow-up Substack article on it on my barely used Substack. Links to all of that as well are in the description. Anyway, so when I started seeing news about the University of Wisconsin and DEI drum up in the last 48 hours, I thought, oh man, what's going on? So, for the sake of everyone's edification, I have 3 items to go through today. Excuse me. I have a brief video. Pardon me. If I don't completely lose my voice here before I actually begin. I have a brief video from PBS Wisconsin from about 6 or so months ago, I think it is, where the president or the director of the Universities of Wisconsin system is talking about moves being made by Republicans in the state to try to drive out DEI from the school system or the university system in Wisconsin. After that, I've got 2 articles talking about what has just happened in the last 48 hours or so on this subject. So we get a little bit of background, And then we get a couple of articles, and we'll all be caught up on what the latest is in the drama of DEI in the universities of Wisconsin. But before I begin as well, at the top of the chat box, take a look. There is links to the fundraisers for our various friends from the audience. Twisted Skipster, James Colley, Grisella, and Maddie. If you take a look at those, each of them in their own way has suffered a hardship, a tragedy of some kind or another in recently, and they could certainly use your help if you have it to give. If you have money to spare, please donate if you can. If you can't donate, that's fine. But if you can share those out on social media, that'd be very much appreciated. So thank you much for that ahead of time. Let's see. What's this? Tier Alexander, me and Rotten Corps want to submit wowies to you. Oh, okay. Well, all I need is a little MP3 file of you doing your wowies, and you can just email them to me in an attachment to scribelight3, all one word, at gmail.com, and I'll be happy to cook them up. Sure. I don't mind. I could use all the wowies I can get. And if you want to give me like 2 or 3 different versions on a single audio file, that's perfectly fine too. So yeah. Sure. Why not? Yeah, you can talk to me more about that on the Discord server, which I'll have a link to at the end of the show for those of you not already part of the Discord. So anyway, let's take a look at this. This is from PBS Wisconsin, with an interview with the president, I think, of the school system, talking about the situation and what the Republicans in the state are attempting, or were attempting to do, at least as far as several months ago, to drive DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, out of the university system.
One of the areas of the state budget yet to be finalized includes the University of Wisconsin system, of which we at PBS Wisconsin are a part of.
Oh, well, full disclosure, thank you.
And that budget could come with complications, as earlier this week, Assembly Speaker Robin Vos said he wanted to see the system budget cut by $32 million in an effort to force the schools to eliminate positions connected to diversity, equity, and inclusion, otherwise known as DEI. Joining us now is UW System President Jay Rothman, and thanks for your time today.
President Jay Rothman. Okay, I wasn't sure it was president or director, ombudsman or something. Ken Elliott, good morning. Yeah, okay, so they're trying to, basically, the Republicans are attempting to starve the beast. They're saying, we're going to cut your budget to try to force out the unnecessary positions, because they are effectively unnecessary to the academic system of DEI directors and programs, unless you decide to get rid of them yourself.
It's good to be with you. Thank you.
So Speaker Vos says efforts related to DEI are a left-wing religion and indoctrination. How do
he's not wrong. If I know anything from my years of looking at it, that's an accurate statement. Thank you, Funtime Bats, for the hiya, Dogcat Fox. Dogcat Fox.
Wow. Wow.
That's a Sinatra Dogcat Fox. Thank you so much, Funtime Bats. And as well, Mr. Tickle Trunk with the happy, smiley, dancy Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wowie, wow.
Oh, there's an irate Alex Dogcat Fox. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Thank you, Funtime Bats. Hope you're having a good morning. Vader35, good morning. All right, let's keep going.
do you respond to that?
You know, I would step back, Zach, and really look at the budget overall, because when we started the process.
No. He asked you to respond to the accusation that DEI is effectively a religion. It is a religion, a non-magisterium religion for the most part, unless you believe in, like, let's say that the patriarchy is the devil and so on and so forth. But either way, you're not going to respond to the accusation of what DEI really is, how it functions. Okay, let's talk about the budget.
We had recommended a 4% increase in each year of the biennium, which I thought was reasonable in light of inflation being at 8% last year and 5 or 6% this year. We knew we wouldn't even keep pace with inflation. And now, you know, there's discussion at least of a potential cut to our budget. And the gulf between those two is huge. And that gulf really is going to threaten accessibility for our students in the state.
No. Okay, not to back up too much here. He's asking you about the categorization of DEI as effectively a non-academic pursuit. Okay, he's challenging the utility and the need and the effectiveness of DEI as a part of the educational system. Okay, calling it a religion and a specifically left-wing, politically charged religion, and instead you're talking about the money. Okay, so the accessibility. How will accessibility be reduced for students in the absence of DEI?
And it's going to threaten affordability in the state of Wisconsin. And that's really what we're focused on. We're focused on helping Wisconsin win the war for talent. We don't have enough engineers and nurses and data scientists and so forth in the state.
How does DEI create more nurses and engineers in the state? How?
Those jobs are going to leave our state unless they're filled here, which is going to hurt Wisconsin's long-term economic viability.
How is DEI a magnet for nurses and engineering students in the state? How?
And as I think about, the accessibility piece, in April, I asked our chancellors to start to look at the branch campuses and look at, are they viable long term? How do we make them viable? How can we adjust them? That piece is ongoing. We recently retained Deloitte to help look at structural deficits in our universities.
Oh, Deloitte and Touche. Oh, yes, Deloitte and Touche. We just listened to one of their representatives in the last week or two on one of my panel streams on Sundays, I think. Boy, you guys are going to the mat on this. You want to talk about the other diversity consultant firms that you and your various branch schools have gone to in the last several years? The ones that promote unlearning.
And help us try to close those by 2028, consistent with our strategic plan. So this is a serious issue. That funding gap is enormous.
Yes, it is an enormous funding gap. $32 million is nothing to sneeze at, but he's asking you about DEI specifically. Justify its presence. That's the whole point here. You cannot justify its presence in an academic setting that makes any sense and doesn't ultimately resolve back down to inherent discrimination.
And I think we have to look at, longer term, what are we going to do for the state? What is in the best interest of the state of Wisconsin?
To get rid of DEI, to do away with systemic discrimination in education. That is what is best for Wisconsin. That is what is best for every state in this union at this point. But you're not talking about what's best for Wisconsin. You're talking about what's best for your programs, your funding.
That's why the system exists. State my entire life. Mm-hmm. That funding gap creates a real issue for us.
But Speaker Voss says
that is the point, dude. That is the point. The funding gap creates an issue for you. Yeah, it's an ultimatum. It's leverage. It's leverage that the state has over your funding because you take state funding. You take federal funding. And if you take a look at Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, you might see a problem with an institution taking federal funding, but at the same time employing discriminatory practices in your programs. And your programs are anything you're doing in your colleges. This guy already, man, 2 minutes in and I'm just like, dude, should you have this job? Anyway.
Speaker Voss says, in terms of hiring more nurses and engineers, he thinks money is not being well spent on positions connected to DEI investments. Do you agree with that?
Well, but when you look at the golf, we're talking nearly $500 million in terms of that golf. And I appreciate, the concerns around DE&I, but I look at it and
no. You appreciate the concern. No, now you're dismissing it. Again, you're dismissing it. You're dodging having to actually examine and actually have to fess up to justifying DEI. You're just looking at the numbers. It's not about the numbers so much, at least as far as the utility of DEI. It's about having to. Oh my God, my brain is going all over the place. You guys are being starved out, and you're finding any way not to change. You don't want to take an honest assessment of what's going on or why DEI makes any sense. And even in this interview, you can't take a moment to think about or analyze or reflect on what exactly it is you're doing and what the point of it is.
And say it's that gulf, that investment. And we've been dealing with shrinking budgets for 10 years in the system. There is a point at which you cannot do this any longer, and it is threatening accessibility, but it's also threatening affordability.
How?
You look at it and you say, we did a study last year that said we are the most affordable public university system in the Midwest, and we are proud of that. We think that is important for the state of Wisconsin.
Okay, and $32 million. I mean, again, nothing to sneeze at, but in the grand scheme of things, $32 million for a gigantic university system in Wisconsin, it's manageable. How do you get to $500 million gulf with a $32 million threat? Everything's going to fall apart because of $32 million? Really?
And to have our universities be affordable. But that's being threatened by the lack of investment that's going into our universities.
What? Wait. Are you talking about a completely separate situation? $32 million out of your budget. You're going to have to tighten the belt, as it were. And tightening the belt means reducing your DEI programs, which are wasting money. Here's what I'd like to know, and maybe one of the articles will talk about this. What is the amount of money, on average, per year, that the University of Wisconsin systems are spending on specifically DEI programs and personnel? What is that budget? Is it $32 million?
And that's what my focus is.
The system just announced a new chief diversity officer has been hired.
Oh, good.
Were there any thoughts to waiting on holding that announcement? Did you think that connection between that and the budget would cause conflict?
That position has been in place at the system for many years.
That doesn't answer the question. My God, this guy, if he hasn't run for public office before, he certainly should. He is very good at not answering the question that is posed to him. He's got it down to a science.
It was in position with President Cross. It was in a position, in that position was there with President Thompson. So we were simply filling a vacancy. That search started last November for that position.
So Governor Evers says he's threatened to
Okay, and on the flip side of things, our interviewer is doing, so far, maybe he's got limited time, I get it, but at the same time, he's doing a lousy job of holding this guy's feet to the fire on the questions being asked. He asks a question, the guy demonstrably does not answer the question, and then he moves on to the next question. I at least appreciate the fact the guy's being put on the record, but our interviewer's not doing the greatest job. But then I suppose PBS doesn't. Here's the other thing too. PBS is part of the university system. So I suppose he can't be too aggressive. He admitted their inherent bias at the beginning, which I appreciate. But this is a softball interview, but it also shows just how fractured the whole process is.
Veto the entire state budget if the UW's.
Whoa, let's back up a little bit. Hold on, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut him off completely here.
Says he's threatened to veto the entire state budget if the UW's budget is cut in this way. Have you reached out to either the Speaker's office or the Governor's office to talk specifically about DEI and the budget?
Wait, so the Governor's he'll throw the whole state under the bus if DEI is threatened. Wow, jeez. Okay, good job.
We've had a number of conversations with both the legislators across the board. What's been reassuring to me is the bipartisan support for the UW system in the legislature. We've certainly have conversations with Governor Evers. The veto in my mind is down the line. We're hopeful we can make our point that why investment in the UW system is an investment in the people of the state of Wisconsin.
It's not about the UW system, dude. It's about DEI. Why will you not address the actual subject of this? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Defend it. Define it. Something.
That's what we're focused on. Because I do worry. I think we have to look back. And if I'm still on this earth 10, 15, 20 years from now, this is a critical period about accessibility and affordability in our state.
For the people that are listening to this interview that do support DEI and the mission involved with that,
Are we actually going to get him to talk about DEI now instead of saying these grandiose things about, oh, everything's going to fall apart if we don't have this $32 million? Come on.
Portability in our state.
For the people that are listening to this interview that do support DEI and the mission involved with that, they're not hearing very much from you speaking specifically about your support for those efforts. And
yeah. Okay. All right. Credit where credit is due. He's trying to pin him down on it. Let's see what happens.
those programs, what would you say to them?
I have reiterated on a number of occasions my support for DE&I. I came from the private sector. In the firm that I was in, we focused on that because it was good business. It was important. And my support for DE&I has not wavered.
Oh, okay. So no matter what falls underneath that umbrella, you're for it. No doubts whatsoever, no concerns, no question as to whether or not DEI is actually important to the education system or process. Okay. I mean, if you say so.
Slightly connected to the budget, the UW School of Engineering building was not approved by the Republicans on the joint finance. Is that another area that you're pushing for? Or do you think that ship has sailed on engineering for now, and right now it's just on the system budget?
No, I think we continue to advocate for engineering. It was the top priority in our capital budget. And I think the logic for building that building is compelling. There is enormous student demand for it. The applicants, we can't even satisfy anywhere near the number of applicants that are there. We know there are jobs available for those engineers, and critical jobs, including in the state of Wisconsin.
Oh gosh, maybe if you, reduce the budget on DEI to pay for the building, actually pay for infrastructure to assist with, the academic pursuits of the students at your school, rather than pump up a left-wing discriminatory religion. I mean, it's just a thought. If you had to consider what's a priority, do we want more engineers, or do we want to keep pushing this ideology that produces nothing but division and hate? It is a tough decision. I understand. It's a tough decision.
We know that the business community is very supportive of that building. We know that we need to expand because it's not just the number of graduates, it's also the world-class research that is done there. We need to enhance the facilities.
Then maybe you need to restructure your budget around priorities. $32 million would probably go a long way to building that building.
So that we can continue to grow that world-class research that redounds to the benefit of the state. And finally, you look at the private support. Well over $100 million of private money goes into that building.
Really?
This is a building that I would think the legislature would look at and say, we need to build that building.
Wait, $100 million goes into that building. We need to build that building. So there is no building, but this building that there is no building gets $100 million for the building. Okay, so I'm assuming you're talking about like building an extension or an addition to an existing structure or something like that, and you can't manage it with $100 million a year? I don't know. We're talking about budgetary concerns. Maybe I just don't know enough about what's going on there, but that's a lot of money. You can't build a building with $100 million a year, or portion out something else from somewhere else on the campus, like maybe DEI. Okay.
For those reasons, we think that argument is compelling, and we are going to continue to advocate for that engineering building.
We just have a few seconds left, but do you think some of this infighting is about political posturing, or are there real concerns the Republicans will cut your budget?
I think I look at the golf. It's not just the cut in the budget. It is that golf. And are we going to invest in the UW system? We are the best talent magnet this state has. We are the best developer of talent this state has. That is critical as we move into it.
Yeah, but is it really talent that matters when skin color comes first? Does our speaker even understand the fundamentals of diversity, equity, and inclusion? You set aside talent, you set aside skill, you set aside merit for aesthetics first. You put up that filter. So it might be the best magnet for talent, but is that talent actually being given the opportunities they've earned if they don't look the part?
A technology-driven knowledge economy. Where are we going to be 5, 10, and 15 years from now? The investments that are made today or the investments that are not made today will define Wisconsin's future.
All right, we'll leave it there. UW.
Okay, well, I'm just going to leave it there then too, because that's all there is to that. So that was from about several months ago. I think YouTube said it was 6 months ago, thereabouts. So you have the president of the University of Wisconsin system not answering the question about DEI. Like, how does he justify having DEI positions and programs in the university system's budget? And the Republicans threatening to cut their budget by apparently $32 million if they don't reduce or, hopefully remove it. So what has happened in the grand scheme of things in just the last couple of days? Well, let me switch around some tabs and things here, and I will tell you. So first off, we get rid of that. Second off, we have to bring in this. And then we switch over to this. All right, so let's take a look at the latest news from WKOW. And this article was published on December 8th, so 2 days ago. But don't worry, more is coming. This has been a difficult process. Universities of Wisconsin make deal with state Republicans on DEI initiatives. All right, so finally it came to a head and a deal was made. Madison, University of Wisconsin, UW, reached a compromise with state Republicans, closing out a continued dispute regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, funding for the state's public universities. The announcement comes 2 days after Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu said a deal was close at hand, but UW officials said no deal is imminent. For over a year, the Republican-controlled legislature, led by Assembly Speaker Robin Voss, tried to completely cut the university system's DEI positions and programs. Republicans recently withheld $32 million in UW funding in reaction to the GOP anger over the DEI programs, landing on that number because they estimated it was the amount the universities would spend on DEI initiatives over 2 years. Okay. All right. UW is working to recoup that money through a workforce proposal said to give Republicans exactly what they want. Okay. To make up for that funding gap, UW announced a workforce proposal for the same amount, which UW President Jay Rothman saying the plan gave state Republicans exactly what they want. Okay. How does that work? In an unexpected news conference Friday, so this past Friday, Rothman and Chancellor Mnuchin, all right, said UW will reimagine 43 positions of its DEI positions, 1/3 of the DEI positions on campuses across the state. Reimagine? Are you just going to be, shifting deck chairs on the Titanic and change some titles and things? Rothman made it clear that no one will lose their jobs and that any impacted position will be reworked to help with, quote, retention and student success, unquote. Okay, so you're just... it's going to be DEI, just we won't call it DEI anymore. That's not... No. That's the deal? That's the deal. Okay, UW, that gives Republicans exactly what they want. Nothing changes except some job titles, I guess. Okay, UW also agreed to not make any new DEI related positions and will cap non-faculty positions for a 3-year period with some additional exceptions for student-facing and research positions. Oh boy. As outlined by President Rothman, the compromise would free up over $800 million. What? For new projects and initiatives for UW, and it would allow for inflationary pay increases for employees. Wait, where did you find $800 million? What? Wait. $32 million is on the chopping block. And so you agree to changes that will somehow save $800 $800 million? So by not hiring any more DEI positions and capping non-faculty positions for 3 years, you'll save $800 million? So is that how much you've been spending over the last 2 or 3 years on nonsense? And a $32 million threat is a big deal. Holy cow. All right. If you say, this compromise probably reveals more waste than if you'd done nothing at all and just acceded to the Republicans' demands in the first place. 800 million. Holy cow. UW would also be able to fund renovation for some dorms and campus infrastructure throughout the state. They could have been doing that this whole time. They didn't need the Republicans to come in and do that. They could have done this of their own accord at any time. $800 million. Okay, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a math major, but I didn't miss something here. It's like, okay, hey everybody, we give up. We'll do something that we could have been doing this entire time to save the taxpayers $800 million over every 3 years and actually put it towards things that'll actually contribute to the education of our students. Am I missing something? In return, the state will help fund a new UW-Madison engineering building, a facility that recently caught fire and flooded. Holy cow. Legislature agreed to contribute $45.4 million in funding to demolish some facilities that are no longer needed or are no longer habitable across the university system. Why does the state need to contribute anything? They just said they can free up $800 million. They don't need state backing at that point, right? Okay, UW is also asking the legislature to pass Assembly Bill 140, which would provide funding earned from Minnesota students coming to Wisconsin to go back to their chosen university. Will provide funding earned from Minnesota students coming to Wisconsin to go back to their chosen university. I don't know how that works. Legislature also agreed to help with projects at UW Whitewaters, Winther and Hyde Halls, and utility projects across the system. Okay, quote, this agreement can hopefully reset our relationship with the legislature so that we can work together to focus on what is best for the state of Wisconsin, Rothman said. In a release, Voss also noted the deal includes a UW and UW-Madison agreeing to create and implement a freedom of expression module for new undergraduates. No details on this learning material were given. Agreeing to create and implement a freedom of expression module. Is this DEI by another name? I don't know. Neither does the report. He also stated that UW will adopt an admissions policy requiring it to guarantee UW-Madison admission to the top 5% of academic performers. The top 10% will be guaranteed admission to all other UW schools. Academic performers. Well, that would be good if I could believe that you wouldn't be putting some kind of filter in between. Voss said this policy will keep Wisconsin's best and brightest in the state. Come 2025, the Legislative Audit Bureau will audit UW to make sure UW is abiding by these agreements. Okay. UW GOP thoughts on the deal and next steps. The compromise will still need to be agreed upon by Speaker Robin Voss and signed by Governor Evers, which the UW is confident will happen. Rothman said, quote, there's no question this has been a difficult process, unquote, and said he recognizes the stress the conflict has caused. Quote, we talk a lot about bridging divides and the importance of doing that, he said. This is a compromise that I think does exactly that, unquote. Representative David Murphy of Greenville said the deal is a, quote, positive step towards real intellectual diversity and growth, unquote, as students move out of, quote, liberal bubbles and into society, unquote. Voss said he's proud to make progress, quote, reducing DEI initiatives' negative influence, unquote, in Wisconsin and focusing on student success and achievement. However, Representative Alex Jowers of Middleton said the deal sets a dangerous precedent for higher education. He said Republicans are using communities of color as a, quote, bargaining chip, unquote, and that the deal will have, quote, deep-rooted consequences for years to come, unquote. Pardon me, Representative Jowers. The university is using communities of color to gain extra money. Communities of color and promoting them as a victim class is a profit motive for the university system. Would you like to turn that around for a second and think about what exactly is going on, what DEI does? $800 million. The Universities of Wisconsin Board of Regents will be voting on the deal Saturday. Yes, they will vote on the deal Saturday. And what happened when they voted on the deal Saturday, you might ask? Well, let's find out. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay, hold on. Stupid. University of Wisconsin rejects trading raises for DEI positions. Boy, that agreement didn't last long, did it? Republican lawmakers had given trustees a choice. Stop it. Stop with the pop-ups. Good gravy. All right. Universities of Wisconsin Regents narrowly rejected a deal Saturday reached with Republicans that would have given employees a pay raise and paid for construction of a new engineering building in exchange for reductions in staff positions focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Regents voted 9-8 during an emergency meeting to turn down the deal reached Friday after being brokered by Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos, the AP reports. Quote, "I don't like this precedent," unquote, Regent Dana Wachs said during the meeting. "We need to make this a welcoming environment." Okay. The vote was immediately panned by leaders of the Assembly Republican caucus. So the regents and the universities would rather keep their ridiculous, quasi-religious, non-productive DEI programs, discriminatory attitudes, etc., and so forth, rather than get the money they say that they need to do what they're going to do. And here's the thing. Here's the funny part. Even in the failure of this deal, the university already showed its hand. They can save $800 million over the next 3 years by reducing and capping positions that they don't need in the first place. And so now they're just going to waste $800 million, I guess? Okay. Again, the vote was immediately panned by leaders of the Assembly Republican caucus. Quote, "It's a shame they've denied employees their raises and our almost $1 billion investment that would have been made across the UW system, all so they could continue their ideological campaign to force students to believe only one viewpoint is acceptable on campus," unquote, the GOP leaders said in a statement. The deal would have frozen hiring for diversity positions, dropped an affirmative action faculty hiring program at UW-Madison. Well, I think affirmative action is already out the window, isn't it? And created a position at the flagship campus focused on conservative thought. Not sure I quite appreciate that one, but anyway. The engineering building would have been built at UW-Madison per the AP. Democrats accused Republicans of holding employees hostage by blocking pay raises. They argue that diversity initiatives enhance the collegiate experience and play a crucial role in identifying promising students who grew up with fewer resources, because obviously anybody that falls into a particular racial demographic is economically challenged. We know this just by looking at them. Sorry, that was my addition. Also, every one of those arguments was defeated in front of the Supreme Court when it came to affirmative action and race-conscious admissions. So them using it now to defend their position against this deal doesn't hold a lot of water. Not even white water. Republican lawmakers in June refused to release funding for the new engineering building at UW-Madison, and Vos in October blocked pay raises for employees across the system until it cut spending on positions that promote diversity. Okay, you guys using little d diversity in this is disingenuous. Okay, DEI. DEI is not the same as just the concept, the dictionary definition of diversity. DEI is a whole other kettle of fish. So this article, so far as just reporting the news, is also being not honest in the way they're using their words. Just saying. Voss refused to allocate funding for the raises, even though the state budget that Republicans approved this summer included a 6% raise over the next 2 years. Under the deal, the system would have frozen hiring for diversity positions. Why do you keep using little d diversity in this? It's DEI. It's a whole other thing. What did I just do? What the heck just happened? What? I got a pop-up. Okay, did that pop-up show up on this screen? I don't think so. Okay, I got a pop-up. That was bizarre. Let's see. Frozen hiring for diversity positions through the end of 2026 and shipped at least 43 diversity positions to focus on student success. The system also would have eliminated any statements supporting diversity on student applications. All right, well, this the writer of this article, or whoever, repurposed it, is using little d diversity rather than talking about DEI as an ideological thesis, which I find, dishonest. But the point remains. The universities of Wisconsin want to keep their nonsense rather than fund their students. Right? Oh, that new building, forget it. Pay raises for teachers, forget it. We want to keep our nonsense. That they can't prove actually provides any benefit. What was the let's see. What was the argument again? Let's see. Diversity initiatives enhance the collegiate experience. How? And play a crucial role in identifying promising students who grew up with fewer resources. How? How do you determine that? Why do you need DEI to determine that? Why can't you just have somebody analyze somebody's tax returns? Right? Or have students that report their family income. What does DEI need? What was the need for DEI in that process? I don't know what enhancing collegiate experience means. Well, okay, I know what it means in the ideological sense. It means, well, we give all those inherently racist white kids the opportunity to be amongst people that aren't like them, so hopefully they won't be as racist in the future. And we give all the people that aren't white the opportunity to be around people that look like they do because they're all racist and need to be around people that look like they do to feel good about themselves. That's what enhancing the collegiate experience actually means, according to DEI. Anyway, so that is the latest and greatest on that. I'm going to keep an eye on this because this just happened yesterday or last night at like the 11th hour, almost literally. So what happens next in Wisconsin? I don't know. I guess we'll find out as time goes on. But before I start wrapping things up, it's a relatively short Sunday stream today. I didn't have much else to go over than what's latest in Wisconsin, so just a news update. But if you guys have any comments, I will entertain some of them now. For $800 million, you could probably build a medium-sized cathedral. Yeah, probably. And then still have a whole bunch of money left over. See, this is what I don't get, and maybe I missed something in the articles. If the president of the school system, the university system, said that they can save $800 million over 3 years by just capping these things, of their own accord. It's not like the government is saying you have to do that. They say you can. They've already figured out that if we do this, we save $800 million. Then just do it. Oh, but no, we're gonna not do that. It reminds me of that scene. If you guys ever saw the very great movie called Dave, starring Kevin Kline and Sigourney Weaver from many, many, many moons ago in the 90s. But anyway, there's this scene in Dave where Dave, who is impersonating the president of the United States, he's sitting at a cabinet meeting and he's got out a yellow legal pad and he's trying to find funding in the federal budget for a particular program. And so he has all his cabinet heads at the table and he starts going down a list and saying, hey, do you really need $10 million a year to encourage American consumers to enjoy the car they already bought? And the guy's like, I guess not. Okay, there's $10 million, something like that. So just going down the list and finding out places where there's absolute waste. There's just, fat on the pork, so to speak, trimming it down, and finding money within the budget to do a thing. That's what it feels like the university has already done. They've handed us the yellow legal pad showing us that if they do these very simple things relatively, and they cut off or reduce the amount of money they're spending on DEI initiatives and non-faculty positions and everything else, they can save $800 million over 3 years. So just do it. Just do that. And then the Republicans have no leverage over you, do they? If you can save $800 million over 3 years, and the Republicans are threatening a $32 million cut, come on. Just then you can pay your teachers $800 million. I can't get over that. I just can't get over that. Advocates Diaboli, it is U of W. They would remove all oxygen from the campus before they would even consider stopping DEI if it were to save the money for it. No kidding. Apparently so. Let's see. Kiro Soldier, the moment the U.S. government got involved with higher education, schools slowly became greedier. Well, it's about oversight. It's about really looking at, okay, if we're going to give you federal money, are you using it effectively? Is it being used to the greater advantage of the students and the state? And DEI has never been able to make a reasoned or substantive, irate bear, argument that it promotes anything other than discrimination, division, and reduction of quality. It's an ideological crusade. That's all it is. And I'm glad. I mean, ever since the affirmative action decision came down from the Supreme Court, DEI, both in private business and certainly in education, has come under far more a microscope, and rightfully so, as it should have been this entire time. But affirmative action really needed to take the nosedive before that could happen, I guess. And I'm glad for it. And so things like this, at least the struggle over DEI and highlighting just how ridiculous it is, I appreciate. So I'm glad for this. And I'm curious to find out what happens next. Advocatus one more time. So it sounds like the legislature should have refused $800 million in funding instead of 13. Well, yeah, I mean, again, now the university system has shown their hand on how much they could save with some seemingly relatively simple changes to procedure. I'm also wondering, more so at the top of the first article, what the university system meant when they said they were going to reimagine positions and programs. Because when they said they weren't going to fire anybody, nobody would lose their jobs, well, then you're still going to be paying people to do something, right? You're not going to change your budget. You're not going to reduce your staff. What do you do with someone who was hired as a DEI officer of some form or another? What do you do with that person? If their specialty is diversity, equity, and inclusion, if that is their expertise, what are they going to do for the school otherwise? I don't know. They didn't say, so I guess we'll find out. Anyway, everybody, relatively short show today. Just wanted to give a little bit on what's going on at University of Wisconsin's university system. Some housekeeping things before I go. First and foremost, the Discord I mentioned earlier. If you'd like to join the Discord, I'm going to put a link into the chat right now. All you have to do is click on that. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say this secret word. The secret word will tell me and my moderators that you actually watch the show and have thus earned the right to join the Discord server. Today's secret word is 800 million. Just say hello, 800 million, and I'll know that you watched the show. Let's see. Oh, but before that, thank you, Alan Thyler, again for the Bravo Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wowie fucking wow wow.
That was a Satsu 2 cents, Dogcat Fox. Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it again. Programming note, I'll be on the Midnight's Edge After Dark channel at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern tonight to go over our next 5 on our list of 15 best Christmas movies of all time. That'll be me and Tom Connors and Gary Ambrosia and Toxic Man Flu. And who else is there? Andy Masterson. and I'm sure I'm forgetting people, 6, and yeah, so I'm going to be insulting somebody by not remembering everybody on the list. But it's a big group, and we sit around talking about movies, and it's lots of fun. So check out Midnight's Edge After Dark at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And as always, next Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern will be the next episode of TED Excellence. Wait, what's this? A wild-tailed feature appears. What? Wait.
Well.
Hello, tailed feature. One of my oldest friends here on the YouTubes. Hope you're having a good Sunday morning. Be sure to check out Tailed Feature's channel on YouTube, which is just Tailed Feature, as well as his other channel, Scottish Feature, for all things Scottish. And his weekly show, Regional Variations, on his Tailed Feature channel, where he talks to many people from across the Europes with various accents. Well, I mean, across the UK, I suppose. I mean, it is kind of like the Europes. I don't know. I'm a Yankee. I don't know anything. What do I know? Anyway, everyone, I want to thank you all for joining me on this little update on what's going on in DEI, in the wonderful world of academia. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or to the fundraisers pinned to the top of the chat box, thank you guys so much for your generosity. Really do appreciate it. Last minute little bit. A new Living on Borrowed Crime is soon on the way. I don't have a date yet, but I am negotiating with a relatively, I think, important true crime channel to have an interview done in the near future. So keep an eye out for that. Join the Discord. Everybody, hope you all have a good rest of your Sunday and weekend. Hope you have a good week ahead of you as we move into this holiday season. I hope you are all safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.